Halloween is known for taking over abandoned buildings and turning them into the Halloween store you see every year. They will go in almost any building they can find, and if you go on their website, it tells you what the buildings were originally. So after looking around, I came across this location in New York where it was once a Toys R Us. You guys love old Toys R Us buildings, but usually I can never go inside them until now. I'll be looking around at the different decorations Spirit has to offer, while also trying to find anything left behind from Toys R Us. Before I go in the actual building, I wanted to point out at the top, right there you can see the T in the beginning of Toys R Us, and the rest is covered by the sign until the end, where you can see the ending of Babies R Us right there. And just to further prove what this place was originally, right as you walk in the door, you step on a bunch of Toys R Us logos. If that doesn't prove what this place once was, then nothing will. But now I wanted to see what Spirit Halloween had at this location. First, I always like to start with the animatronics. I always loved looking at these when I was younger, and even had a collection of my own. I've made many videos in the past showing everything I had, so if you want to see that, I'll put a link in the description. But the first two you can see is the Ringmaster, which is a really big animatronic that opens his jacket for souls or something like that, and Monty, which is a huge monkey that claps together cymbals. I've definitely seen this one in the past, but I guess they brought him back. But what's interesting is that in the flagship location I went to, they had Ghostface in the front instead of the monkey. So I assume different locations get different animatronics for one reason or another. As you move along, you're met with Dagger Mike. I didn't see him on display in the flagship location, so it's probably just another random one this place put up. But he does have a cool name. And right next to him is one of my favorites. You have this green witch zombie thing that jumps so high into the air. I love this one because I feel like most people wouldn't expect it to go as high as it does. But just don't put this thing inside, otherwise it might slam right into the ceiling. And the next section was the Scarecrow that really isn't too interesting. All he does is say random stuff. And in this location, he didn't even work. I already thought this one didn't do much in the first place, but now he's really doing nothing. But this alien is another tall one, and might be the tallest animatronic I've ever seen from Spirit Halloween. You really just have to see this in person to understand. But other than that, he really doesn't do anything worth pointing out. You're basically just getting this guy because of his height. The next section though is really cool, because it's supposed to look like a carnival game, with the spinning ducks in the background, and to activate the animatronics, you have to press this button on the fake gun. The first one to see is just this dude that lights up. If I had to pick a least favorite, it would probably be this one. He doesn't do much at all and looks kinda boring. But the one next to him is good. It's supposed to be Art the Clown, and he honks his horn. But I guess they didn't want him to have blood, so they put this DIY poster next to him. Now somehow I forgot to talk about this Scarecrow in the back, so I'll just show you him at the flagship location, but all he does is just sit there until you put your hand in the bowl, and then he jumps up. Nothing crazy. And as for the third and final section, this is where you'll see the most animatronics. Starting with Barnaby the Bear, it's a bear that balances himself on a ball. I like this one because it's something different from Spirit Halloween. Unlike the one right next to him, which has been around for so many years now. Since 2011, this spider has been on display, and I have to say I love it. There's never been one that lasted this long, so I hope they keep it around for many years to come. And it's only $50, which is really cheap for Spirit. Just look at the other prices on any other item, and this one seems like it's free in comparison. Now as for these two in the middle, I think they are really well made. These animatronics look different from any other this year, but in a good way. They look like they came straight from the movie and are now here in the store. Both animatronics do interact with each other, but the one downside is that you have to buy both separately. So if you just get one, it will be talking to itself. But if you love the film, I would definitely recommend getting these. At the end on this side, you come across Bobby Strings, who is basically Pinocchio if he was creepy. Also, his hat looks like the one Chuck E. Cheese used to wear. On the other side, you'll see this clown, who may seem to be a normal animatronic, until you read this and find out it actually follows you around. His head turns wherever you go. So if you move, he will move with you. Unfortunately, however, this one was broken. So you can't see him do that, but normally he does. In the middle is this big spider, which barely moves and is just big. Sometimes I feel like these things are big and that's their selling point. They don't do much other than being that. And at the end you have another clown, but this one's supposed to scare you with a zombie jumping out of the cotton candy. And if you wanted a little fun, you can walk right through the display, and it's super creepy in there.